Good evening. I'm Stacey Amos for News Channel 8, and these are the top stories that we have for you tonight. A U.S. Marshal dies tragically on St. Croix. The drive-by shooting victim on life support has passed away. And a Caribbean refinery wants to take advantage of Hovenza's closure. Those stories and more are up next for you on News Channel 8. Top story tonight, a U.S. Marshal at the Superior Court, Ronald Rogers, died tragically yesterday in a motorcycle accident. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the story.
Thank you very much, Stacey. Another horrific weekend for the United States Virgin Islands in more ways than one. First of all, from the family at News Channel 8, the staff at News Channel 8, we want to give out our condolences to Superior Court marshals all over our territory, especially Judge Brady and all the clerks and so forth. They are in mourning today as we have lost a Superior Court marshal. It was 12 o'clock midnight last night. This is all unofficial. Ronald Rogers, we believe he's 29 or 30 years of age. He had his motorcycle. Now you're going to see some pictures of that wreckage. He was coming from the Hospital Road area, from where Juan Louis is, where the camera is, on straight. And as he approached this intersection around midnight, something went horribly, horribly wrong, because he smashed, we believe, into those sections of rocks there, and his motorcycle there, a wreck. And a lot of people have been passing by, as you can see footage of people just staring at the area. He was a very beloved marshal. A lot of Superior Court personnel came down here, and one of them said, "Wes, make sure you take care of my boy right tonight." These are just some of the feelings. I'm dealing with Miss Velasquez in Superior Court under Judge Brady. Judge Brady will have a statement, I believe, for you, Stacey, by press time tonight. But a horrendous accident, taking the life of a young man just getting started. He spent about 5 years, I understand, at his job. Now, even more disturbing, that is what already I've told you. We believe, this is unofficial, that passersby, someone stole his weapon. We're going to go over in a few seconds across the street and take a look at the area by the restaurant, and I will show you a raked area that marshals were trying to find his weapon, his magazine, and they did take some spent shells from the scene, and possibly that was ejected when that man had crashed at the scene. See here, again, these areas here where the wreckage was, and they had to rake this area trying to find maybe his weapon or so forth. I'm going to take this time, if you know anybody who stole this marshal's weapon as he lay in a horrible accident, no conscience, how do you sleep? You need to call 911 or Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. I'm so sorry I had to give out this information to the family at a time like this when they're grieving. Reporting at Sunny Isle, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
In other sad news, the victim of a drive-by shooting last week who was on life support has passed away. Across the newsroom, News Channel 8's Wes Small has the tragic details.
Thank you very much, Stacey. It is indeed another tragic day in the Virgin Islands. It was tragedy to start with, and it was Thursday evening at 8:04 as you watch these pictures here, horrific pictures of 32-year-old Gilbert Hendricks as he was shot down in a hail of bullets right near Five Corners. You might remember that. And arrested then was Elvin Rensford. Fortunately, he was arrested just a couple of hours after the scene. He was seen fleeing in a red pickup truck. Well, now, sadder news to report. Delbert Hendricks has now passed away. We believe he was on life support for several days, and finally at 1:13 yesterday afternoon, he was pronounced dead. So now Mr. Rensford is probably more than likely looking at first-degree murder charges as the Attorney General Vincent Frazier awaits those charges. I talked to Attorney General Frazier's office earlier today. He's just waiting for the paperwork. So as we speak now, charges will probably be upgraded against the suspect, Elvin Rensford, to first-degree murder. Meanwhile, tragedy strikes St. Croix again. From the family of News Channel 8, we want to send out our condolences to the Hendricks family. This one is going to hit us all, and all we could say is we're sorry and we offer our condolences. If you know anything about this horrible tragedy, you need to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or 911. To repeat, we have lost another brother. He is Gilbert Hendricks, 32 years old, and our condolences go out to the Hendricks family. In the News Channel 8 newsroom, Stacy, back to you.
In both stories, as Wes mentioned, if you know something, please say something. Contact the VIPD 911 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. On another note, U.V.I. celebrated graduation ceremonies this weekend. Here are some of the highlights.
The mace of the University of the Virgin Islands is a symbol of presidential responsibility and authority. For the 50th anniversary year, a special mace was created. Also created were macettes to be presented to each of the honorary doctorate candidates. Both the mace and the macettes were carved by a local artisan on the island of St. Croix.
Your success is not an accident. Remember this: success is 1 part inspiration, 9 parts perspiration, especially today, all parts determination. To do anything important takes vision and effort. You had a vision of yourselves as graduates. You made the effort, and now here you are. We need to always remember the vision. What is our mission? Why are we here? What are we being called to do? I hope over your years at U.V.I. you have found something you feel passionate about, a vision of your future that excites you. We all need to have that sense of purpose, and if you don't have it yet, keep listening. Listening for that still, small voice within that will guide you toward your true calling.
Not only golden, but we're unified. Unified in our intelligence, our diversity, our potential, and our talent. But those are the things that make us peers. The question is, what makes us a class? What makes us the 50th Golden Jubilee class of the University of the Virgin Islands? The answer, our voice. Our desire to not just be heard, but answered. Our attempts to persist, to grow, to succeed. Our efforts and struggles to maintain our strength. Our never giving up or losing hope on what we feel is important to us. Our education.
News Channel 8's Wes Small caught up with Senator Alicia Chucky Hansen earlier today to discuss the junior ROTC situation.
Thank you very much, Stacy. News Channel 8's behalf, I want to say to you, Senator Alicia Chucky Hansen, a late happy Mother's Day, and I hope you enjoyed your Sunday, and I know you went to I'm Every Woman, so I think y'all had fun, y'all mothers out there. I just want to start off by saying happy Mother's Day, even though it's late.
Thank you very much. It's never too late to wish a happy Mother's Day.
First, we're going to be talking about the junior ROTC. And it's a lot worse than we thought. We thought we had a lot more time to deal with this situation, and the letter coming from the U.S. Army and so forth saying that over 800 of our students, over 200 of them coming out of right next door at Central, won't have junior ROTC, and now you have an update on that.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you're fully aware now of the letter confirming everything that I said will happen, and they have emphasized it that they will close down the J.R.O.T.C by the end of this school year for the territory. And there are 1,700 other schools throughout the world that are waiting for that opportunity that we enjoy today. J.R.O.T.C program is so valuable to this territory that we take it for granted. Up to yesterday at the Special Olympics, you should have seen the performance of these young men and women actually expressing their training through the J.R.O.T.C. Can we afford to have over 800 young people on the street to do what? It's obvious at the Special Olympics, if you saw them, that it takes numerous amount of hours to train them for those performances. Those are hours that they could be on the street doing the wrong thing. Too many of our young people are spreading their bloods on our streets today. We must save J.R.O.T.C. We have to thank J.R.O.T.C and their instructors for the training that they are providing in keeping our young people out of trouble. Today, May 14th, there's a Committee on Education where they are discussing with the Commissioner of Education the issue of the J.R.O.T.C. And I have to commend the Commissioner of Education for once for indicating that this is a program that we cannot afford to lose. I have to commend Senator Dow, who made a move to hold that bill that I have to save the ROTC because he wanted more information. And he was the first to acknowledge that the letter that was sent to me by the Department of the Army, it is real, and he will do nothing to stop JROTC from folding, and including getting rid of the JROTC. And therefore, he's prepared to move along with me to help save this program.
Is there still time?
Well, very little time. I've requested of the President of the Senate to call a special session. Today I submitted another proposal to have us petition the President of the Legislature. Also a letter to the Governor to seek a special session. Somebody gonna have to move very quickly, and I have no authority to do that. I can only petition the Governor, petition the President of the Senate, petition my colleagues. There are 3 different ways that we can have a session. But they made it very clear. The legislature of the Virgin Islands has the authority, which we know, to keep the 8% in place. They also have the authority, which they said they will exercise if they don't put back the 8% and stop the breach of contract. So it's not about money. It is the issue is that the Department of the Army will not allow the government of the Virgin Islands in any area of their contract to breach it. That is the issue. And we have to save these students.
I urge you to call your senators immediately, tonight, tomorrow morning, and start on that so you could back Chucky, at least back and see if the students can go to junior ROTC, whatever you have to do.
We'd like to thank Alicia Chucky Hansen for her time. And before we go on a break, Senator Hansen has some words to say about Ronald Rogers, the Superior Court Marshal who lost his life over the weekend.
I am just extremely disheartened of the passing and how he passed one of our marshals of our courts, Mr. Rogers, and I really want to send to his family and friends, and of course to the courts, my deepest sympathy, and I hope that God will lift you up in spirit to facing this tragic situation.
A Bahamian oil refinery expands as part of a plan to take advantage of the closure of Havenza on St. Croix. That's in your Caribbean Report.
From Antigua, shortly after a magnitude 4.0 earthquake was recorded off the island on Friday,
The Seismic Research Unit in Trinidad and Tobago has reiterated its warning that our region should prepare for a much more severe form of the natural phenomenon and confirmed that the activity occurred 50 miles east of the capital, St. John's, at about 5 a.m. Officials said it's not a matter of if, but when a tsunami will strike the region. From Barbados, the body of a man who was an employee of the U.S. Embassy was discovered around 8:30 a.m. at White Sands Beach in Dover, Christchurch on Saturday. According to a police official, the body bore a wound to the head and a gun was found at the scene, and the police are treating the death as unnatural. From the BVI, Taiwanese passport holders can now enter the BVI on a visa-free scheme, the Minister of Foreign Affairs reported last week. The privilege went into effect April 3rd. The BVI is the 125th country to grant Taiwanese citizens visa-free entry or landing visa privileges, and it applies to Taiwanese visiting the country for less than 6 months on business, for tourism, family, and or student purposes. From the Bahamas, Buckeye Partners Operations in the Bahamas is looking to capitalize on the shutdown of the Havenza oil refinery in St. Croix. Bahamas Oil Refining Company, the company's flagship oil terminal facility on Grand Bahama, has initiated expansion plans as it continues to be the jewel in Buckeye's international crown, comprising more than 90% of its total revenue among international operations. Recent acquisitions in the U.S. are expected to connect the dots and complete Buckeye's storage and distribution network in the Bahamas. From Cuba, in Havana, a British man and his Cuban wife have opened the Caribbean island's first curry house, and like all privately owned restaurants, it's run inside the family home. The family have taken advantage of the opportunities created as the communist government slowly opens up Cuba's state-controlled economy. The regime says the increasing amount of limited private enterprise is crucial in helping sustain Cuba's socialist system. From Haiti, Haiti's land may hold the key to relieving centuries of poverty, disaster, and disease. There is gold hidden in its hills, and silver and copper too. A flurry of exploratory drilling in the past year has found precious metals worth potentially $20 billion deep below the tropical ridges in the country's northeastern mountains. Now, a mining company is drilling around the clock to determine how to get those metals out. From Montserrat, Montserrat-based airline Fly Montserrat is expanding its route network, offering daily flights between Antigua and Nevis. Fares are being finalized, but Fly Montserrat expects them to be similar to what passengers are presently paying with LIA. From Puerto Rico, former pro player Charlie Pasarell is leaving his management post with the BNP Paribas Open Tennis Tournament after 31 years to develop a resort in Puerto Rico. Pasarell, who's 68, plans to develop Royal Isabela Golf Course and Resort with his brother in Puerto Rico, and Pasarell was the top-ranked U.S. player in 1967, a year after he won the NCAA singles and doubles titles at UCLA. And your cricket update. Without the full service of their three-pronged pace attack, the West Indies struggled to make any inroads, and the Lions easily wiped off the 197 set for victory before tea on the final day of the four-match tour at Wantage Road. And former West Indies bowler Ian Bishop believes the Caribbean team has no chance against the world's #1 ranked Test team, England, in the three-match Test series starting on May 7th at Lord's. Please be sure to check our Facebook page for all full details on stories covered in the Caribbean Report. Now, the I'm Every Woman pageant event took place this weekend, and here are the winners.
And your third runner-up is Glennis Quinty Tyson. And your second runner-up in the 2012 I'm Every Woman Queen of the Park goes to Chanel China Doll Rollins.
The first runner-up is Miss
April Miami Heat.
I'm Every Woman, the winner of the 2011 SUV
A gift basket from Penn Global, $100 gift certificate from Lisa Sophia, flower underwearment, trophy and sash. Your I'm Every Woman 2012 Queen of the Pack is none other than Charisma Caribbean Goddess Rojas.
Everybody's just have a good time. Everybody can lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time.
we'd like to congratulate all the winners as well as all the pageant participants. Now up next, it's more of the U.V.I. graduation ceremonies.
This newscast has been sponsored by Mario's Virgin Crystal. Let us save you the hassle of lugging those jugs around. Purified bottled water conveniently delivered to your home or office. Also available in your favorite grocery store. Call 773-2810.
Now here's more highlights from U.V.I.'s commencement ceremonies this weekend.
It always seems as though the challenges on St. Croix are always greater. But our rich history of courage, determination, resistance, and resilience has always empowered us, and it will today. And I know that you, many of whom have had to overcome your own personal challenges, some great and some small, to arrive at this place of honor and achievement today, you will never let us lose faith. So it is to you that we look to enhance our vision, to intensify our inspiration, and to fortify our hope in this time of trial and change. Which calls to mind these inspiring words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King when he said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope."